first wedding in the Lacey Room. The same day we held a citizenship ceremony for 22 residents in the Mulberry Suite. Since then, there's been a further 31 weddings in either the Lacey Rooms or the Mulberry Suite, with many more to come. Meetings have been held in the committee rooms 1 and 2, where we are today, and tonight's event, as I understand, is the first joint meeting, with it also being transmitted live to the Mulberry Suite, to test to ensure that larger events can take place in the future. I've also been reliably informed that the other areas will start to be open to the public in June. This will be the reception, the private areas for those who are truly in need of officer face-to-face interactions, a discreet area for residents who have been made homeless to sit whilst they're awaiting rehousing, and indeed the police will also be using some of our rooms. When I go back to the homeless that present themselves to the council, and I said this before, I said this in the old chamber, and I've said it since, no longer will their possessions and they be on display for all to see at one of the most difficult times in anyone's life. So the design will work well. As you can see, the building is finished to a very high standard, something that we'll be ensuring throughout the rest of the building. The long-awaited, nearly complete council chamber is progressing well, but with any construction project this size, we haven't been helped by the national, indeed international, shortage and delay of both materials and craftspersons. But we are going to deliver a chamber that will stand for a generation, so we need to make sure it's right. No longer will we want to have a chamber where we go in and moan about the light fittings, or there's no air conditioning, or whatever the problem is. This whole new wing of the civic offices is part of the exciting regeneration of Grays and that we will see in the coming years. The old offices will be turned into homes for Thurrock residents, and the whole project, is an example of Thurrock Council leading the regeneration of this borough. So as we go forward into the year, we've got the Jubilee celebrations coming up. Thurrock is getting itself ready to celebrate the Platinum Jubilee, and the first time any monarch has reached this fantastic milestone in the history of this country. Earlier this year we started to plant trees across the borough, one in every single ward, as part of the Queen's green canopy. Those trees will have the plaques commemorating the event stored next to them, and as the trees grow and thrive, they will serve as a living celebration of this auspicious year. Beacons will be lit at Malvern, Coalhouse Point, Purfleet-on-Thames and Tilbury Fort on the 2nd of June. They will be joining 1,500 beacons being lit throughout the country and indeed the Commonwealth. And I'd like to thank all the local forums and indeed English Heritage for organising the events, with English Heritage organising the one at Tilbury Fort. There will also obviously be a series of activities at the library and indeed at our museum, and this is on top of the expected street parties, big Jubilee launches taking place across the borough. The one thing I hope is the weather's more like it is now than it was earlier. But again, as we move through the year, in July we will be thrust again into the spotlight for good reason, when the baton for the Birmingham 2022 Queen's Relay visits Thurrock on its final journey through the country this year. We're delighted that Thurrock can play its part in the 16th official Queen's Baton Relay, and the Port of Tilbury has the honour of welcoming the baton through the London International Cruise Terminal. But before that, at the same place, Tilbury will be taking part in the Windrush 2022 celebrations, where some of those who arrived originally on the Windrush will set sail from Waterloo Pier back to Tilbury to visit the Walkway of Memories that was opened last year, again at the cruise terminal, to commemorate their arrival. That's just on the civic side, but we also need to move forward as a local authority and start to deliver. So we have two fantastic town funds boards which will be delivering impacting changes to both Grays and Tilbury. They will start to deliver beaches, youth and community provision, new ferry access, better connectivity both physically and electronically, all to improve both those towns. We have town funds boards, businesses, council officers, residents and elected members of all levels, all wanting this to happen, willing this for happening, and will make it happen. And we will be updating everybody on progress when it occurs. Also, as we know, Thames Freeport's already started to open for business and got off to a flying start. Silver 2 Port has opened, making 160 acres of state-of-the-art port facilities available for shipping companies around the world. This is going to be a vital start to restart our economy. The whole Freeport will generate more than £4.5 billion of new public and private investment in jobs, in skills, in communities, in infrastructure, create 21,000 direct jobs, endless untold periphery jobs on top of that. All of these opportunities will be in industries such as aerospace, automotive, manufacturing, green energy. And all of that will start right here on our doorstep. So the right level of investment into Thurrock to make up that infrastructure deficit and bring the country back to its feet and be a world leader. So to achieve this, I'm appointing a new cabinet, and just some of those already on cabinet with new responsibilities. I will of course distribute the full list of responsibilities after the meeting. But I have a new deputy leader, as already been alluded to, Councillor Mark Cockshaw. He will retain his regeneration role, probably one of the most important roles as we go forward in the coming years. Councillor Hewing will be covering adults and health. Councillor Johnson will continue in children's and social care education. Councillor Spillman in housing. Councillor Maney in highways and transport. Councillor Duffy will take on the finance portfolio as well as his communications. Andrew Jeffries will continue in the environment, will have air quality added to it. And before I move on to the next one, we have been talking as a council about transformation since before I was elected, first of all, over 16 years ago. We're now at the point where this transformation has to be delivered. So to deliver this, I've appointed Shane Hebb, who stepped away from the role as my deputy leader, as he's got a fantastic new professional position, and he's taken on the role of transformation and performance. And anyone who's met Shane, been in the meeting with Shane, who's seen the presentation from Shane, knows that he knows what he's talking about, he loves what he's talking about, and he will make sure this is delivered. And last but not least, including myself, the Cabinet Member for Communities and Equalities will be Councillor Bass. So I'd like to welcome Councillor Bass onto Cabinet. He will take the role with a passion, as he's done it like nobody else. Now, if anyone's had the privilege to walk around the event with Councillor Bass, I would suggest you have much longer legs and much thinner legs than I, because he will tire you out. He seems to know everyone and everywhere. He will be a great ambassador for the administration moving forward. But before I close, I will say, and hopefully only a temporary farewell from Cabinet to Councillor Mays. Councillor Mays has requested of me to become the chair of Housing Opening and Scrutiny, which I'm sure it will happen later on this evening, to expand his knowledge and to see how that area of delivery actually works. This is a testament to him wishing to expand his knowledge, but it's also a testament to those that remain on Cabinet who are quite happy to take on new roles to bend and make sure that we can still deliver. And finally, despite my asking, and I need to get this out there, I've repeatedly asked Councillor Ralph to join Cabinet, and repeatedly he has refused. He refuses, as he wishes to continue as the chair of Health ONS, to make sure that the right people are challenged as health provision in Thurrock and across Essex changes. That was the less explicit version of what he said when I asked. So hopefully at one point I will get you onto Cabinet. So with that, Mr. Mayor, I close my remarks.